Kazakhstan from above.
Koryakovko Lake, located near the city of Pavlodar, is a favorite place among the vacationers. People like the lake for its unusual look created by amazing color of water reservoir. The lake acquired this color due to the effect of the sun on the bacteria and algae living in it. Since as early as the 18th century, common salt was mined at the lake by a merchant of the name of Koryakovko. During the times of the Russian Empire, this lake was called the Salt Klondike because it was considered the main object for the extraction of industrial salt for Siberia. Not every lake can boast of such a feature as the pink watercolor, where the salt crystals resemble fragile transparent ice. People come here to enjoy the landscapes, looking at which they can forget the reality and immerse in their most rosy dreams. A characteristic feature of the lake is the foundations of the bridge, the destroyed remnants of the railway track, whereby salt was once transported to the shore. Once they were part of the railroad, but now they are only a historical landmark. A rare water body is protected as a unique gift of nature. Yertes is the world's largest tributary river, originating in the waters of China and flowing into the Ob River. It crosses the territories of 3 countries: China, Kazakhstan, and Russia. The glorious city of Pavlodar is located on the banks of the Yertes River. It faces the river along which the motor ships and boats periodically sail. In the old days, shipping was actively developed on the Yertes River. Nowadays, mainly small water transport runs here. The landmark of Pavlodar is the Yertes River embankment, which has been opened on the city day in 2000 and is considered the most popular holiday destination. It is the longest embankment in Kazakhstan. Its length is about 7 kilometers. In the center of the embankment, the Yertes Promenade stage is located, where concerts and festive performances take place. Every year, the embankment becomes more ennobled, acquiring new architectural views and forms. One of the main decorations of Pavlodar is a unique architectural structure, a mosque, named after Mashhur Jusub. The magnificent building is located in the city center and represents an 8-pointed star with the minarets of 63 meters of height. The dome of the mosque is sky-colored, made in the shape of a shanarak. Its height, together with the golden crescent, is 54 meters. The area of the building makes up more than 7,000 square meters. It can hold, at a time, up to 1,500 people. The mosque was named in honor of the Kazakh poet and thinker, as well as a deeply religious person, the famous Orientalist Mashhur Jusub Kapeyev. He was called Saint during his lifetime and was honored by the people. The youngest temple of Pavlodar is the Orthodox Church of the Archangel Michael. It opened its doors in 2017 on the Christmas Day. The construction of the temple lasted for 3 years, supported by the voluntary donations of believers. Pavlodar is an old city which appeared at the beginning of the 18th century as one of the Yertes military line outposts. Pavlodar, with its wide streets, unusual buildings, parks and squares, acquired its present appearance in the 60s of the last century. Today, the modern Pavlodar is one of the main industrial centers of Kazakhstan. Besides, it's a very beautiful and romantic city, decorated everywhere with flowers, numerous squares, various fountains, and other attractions. The Yertes Bank is the most beautiful place in Pavlodar. After all, it is namely here that you can see the floodplain in all its glory. In some places, the river valley has the width of 15-18 kilometers. The riverbed is broken by many islets and sand spits. The Yertes floodplain is unique and generous, stretching over 370,000 hectares. It is an inexhaustible source of feedstuffs, a rare natural complex with the unique fauna and flora. The winter in Pavlodar is snowy and frosty. The Yertes River is half covered with a thick layer of ice. A seagull spreading its wings over the snowy expanses is the symbol of the city of Pavlodar. In winter, fishing also flourishes on the Irtysh River in the Pavlodar region. The waters here are rich in fish. The fishing items at this time are roach, eech, and bream. In the middle of the 20th century, the development of the virgin and fallow lands began in this region. Echelons with the construction materials and agricultural machinery came from all over the Soviet Union. Thousands of young specialists came to the virgin lands, which had a positive effect on the general level of the village culture. Wheat was grown everywhere, horizon to horizon. This turned the Pavlodar region into a major center of grain farming. The region is still leading in respect of the agricultural production growth. The absolute record has been achieved by the Pavlodar farmers this year. For the first time in 30 years, they have harvested more than 1 million tons of grain, whose crop yield increased immediately by almost 30%. This has become possible thanks to the development of irrigated agriculture and the introduction of modern agricultural technologies. The Pavlodar region is also called the potato land. The farmers in the Yertis land have harvested 600,000 tons of potatoes this year. The volume of potatoes and vegetables prepared in the region for winter storage increases every year. To provide the population of the country with high-quality products, the modern vegetable storehouses are being built in the region. On average, the population of the region consumes 80,000 tons of the second bread a year. The rest is exported to Russia and Uzbekistan, as well as used to meet the internal market needs. The landscapes of the Yertis land are modest and abundant at the same time. Most of the territory is occupied by the flat, endless steppes. Nature has generously endowed the region with the lakes. There are over 1,200 of them here. Most of them are salty. An active work is underway today to develop the salt lakes in the Pavlodar region. According to the scientists, it is just these lakes that have the healing power and a huge potential for the development of health tourism in the region. There are many lakes, but the most famous four are the Moyolbi, Maralbi, Kalatuz and Kızıltuz lakes. The Moyoldi resort area is incredibly popular and attracts a huge number of tourists. The reservoir contains mineralized silt mud and salted brine, which produce a powerful healing effect against various diseases of the musculoskeletal system. The pearl of the Pavlodar region is the Bayanaul National Natural Park. A paradise of quaint mountains and crystal lakes, a place of archaeological sites and the fatherland of the outstanding historical persons. By the way, this is the first protected area in the Republic, which received the status of a protected area in 1985. The park is located within the Kazakh hummocks, where the endless steppe is replaced by meadows and forests. As if from nowhere, a fabulous and unique oasis, Bayanaul, appears among the semi-desert steppe. Its highest point is the Mount Akbet, which reaches the height of 1,027 kilometers above the sea level. According to the legend, the mountain was named in honor of the girl Akbet, who threw herself off that mountain since she was married to an unloved man. In the territory of the national park, the four large freshwater lakes are located: Sabındıkol, Jasibay, Toraygır, and Baurjankol lakes. Their shores are dotted with the cultural monuments surrounded with the folk legends and traditions, passed down through the centuries, which creates a special, unique atmosphere when visiting Bayanaul. The most popular lake is Jasibay. A sandy beach with the necessary infrastructure including boat rental, sports equipment, cafes and shops is especially equipped for the tourists. The lake was named in honor of the legendary Batыр Жасыбай, the hero of the Kazakh-Jungar Wars. According to the legend, it was here that he held back to the last superior forces of the enemy. Such unique places represent special points on the tourist map of the country. The Bayanaul mountain ranges are indented by numerous streams with crystal clear and cool water. There are a lot of sightseeing attractions in Bayanaul, but the main thing is the extraordinary nature which attracts and pulls in here numerous tourists and travelers. The Bayanaul National Natural Park is not only mountains and forests, but also colorful caves and grottos. Here, within the Kazakh hummocks, the Pavlodar region borders on the Karaganda region. The mountains stretch for hundreds of kilometers and smoothly merge into the neighboring Karkarali mountain range. The Nura River also flows here, undoubtedly decorating the vastness. It is considered the largest river in the central part of the republic. In the middle of the Saryarka steppe, the Karkarali mountain oasis is located. The Karkarali National Park is a protected natural reserve where pine forests grow green on low hills, birches and aspens grow, and many lakes are hidden among the rocks. The area, with its beautiful landscapes and interesting history, is considered the main asset of central Kazakhstan, along with Bayanaul. The Karkarali Mountains are asymmetric, forming a network of rocky ridges and peaks, separated from each other by the deep gorges, intermountain valleys, and plains. The relict plants of the Ice Age, rare and disappearing specimen of the flora and fauna, exist here under the state protection. The Pavlodar region is a large industrial center of Kazakhstan. The pearl of the region is Bayanaul, where the ancient legends come to life at the foot of the quaint mountains. The Karkaralinsky National Park in the Karaganda region, where the mysterious lakes and the mountain oasis represent an amazingly beautiful picture.